Do we go back to the steroids era of baseball? Let him do steroids. The bench clearing brawls, the stupid bullpens. Are we headed towards a lockout? The collective bargaining agreement is up. And welcome to We Live It Sports, the complete game. We put it out there and the people spoke. You guys selected the complete game. This is We Live It Sports baseball show. As you can see here, we got the baseball in the background. You got the two biggest Yankees fans in Denver, Colorado, breaking it down for you every single week. But we don't just cover the New York Yankees or the Colorado Rockies. We cover the complete game. As always, I'm here with my partner, Sean Martin of Flatirons Fireplaces. Sean, tell them what's going on your side of town. Tell them what's going on at Flatirons Fireplaces.
Manny, how's it going? Just here in our showroom off I-25 and 58th Avenue. Come by and see us on your way to Coors Field. Enjoying plenty of games, plenty of fun games this summer. We'll talk about the Rockies here shortly. We just got a brand new sauna back here. We're going to introduce another sauna. So we went from 2 to 4 saunas. That's a huge portion of what people are doing for their homes. Come by, take a look at them, and look out for outdoor furniture as well. We have a whole plethora of furniture here in our showroom that you guys can take a look at as well.
That's a great point, Sean. You guys don't just take care of the inside, you take care of the outside. And a personal favorite of mine always is the sauna. If you're going to be out there working hard and playing hard, take care of that body, get yourself a sauna, and go down and see Sean over there off I-25. I saw the showroom driving down I-25 the other day. You cannot miss it. So stop in, see Sean at Flatirons Fireplaces. Like I said, don't just take care of the outside, take care of the inside as well. But right now, we got to take care of some business. We're 2 weeks into the MLB season. We have our own personal power rankings. So, Sean, I'm going to start with mine. Maybe I'm just a little bit of a fan favorite, a homer, as they say. But number one, I have the New York Yankees. They are just playing great baseball right now. They are leading the division. As I said back on the first show, I'm going to keep wearing my Yankees hat until they're no longer first place in the AL East. And with how the AL East is going right now, I might be wearing this Yankees hat all season. I know they haven't looked great the last couple days against the Oakland A's, but I just feel with their pitching, as they continue to evolve, they get some of their players back, they're going to continue to get better. My number 2 is the LA Dodgers. I mean, just how can you overlook this team? They are playing crazy right now. Their roster is just loaded top to bottom. Number 3 for me, the Cincinnati Reds. I didn't think I would be saying that too much this season, but very, very surprising team leading their division, but also right there in the hunt for the division as well. The Milwaukee Brewers, their offense is just going crazy. And my number 5, just because I think they have so much potential, the Atlanta Braves. Sean, tell me what you like about my list. Tell me what you hate about it.
I love your list because the Yankees are on top. That's where they should always be in the baseball world. But the last 4 games have completely struggled. They lost against Miami at home. They barely win because of Rosario's second home run. In the 8th inning, they scored 4 runs off Mark Leiter, former Yankee. We could go all and on that. And then they lose the next 2. Today, they lost today, only getting 1 hit. Ryan Weathers, their pitcher, looked great. He pitched 8 innings, only gave up 1 run, so the score was 1-0. You don't want to see that. They're going to need to have their offense step up. Ryan McMahon is terrible at the plate. He's in his own head. He's messing up in the field. We have a lot to to look at for that team right now. The pitching's only going to take you so far if your offense isn't going to step up. Someone like Aaron Judge, 1 through 6 definitely needs to be there for that offense. 7 through 9 is going to be the question mark, but they definitely need to step it up. So I'd put them down to 3. LA Dodgers are going to be number 1 for me right now. They are beating up on everyone that they can, winning every series they can. And when you're the back-to-back champions, it's going to take a lot to be dethroned. Cincinnati Reds, for sure, number 2 for me right now. It's so crazy to say. Terry Francona has that team exactly where he needs to have them. It was going to be questionable when they lost Hunter Green for that injury. And then you have Chase Burns stepping it up. That kid is lights out to watch. Super fun team, super young team to watch. So I like to see that. Love to see divisions going out there. Milwaukee Brewers look so good, but it was also against a really terrible Boston Red Sox team this past series. They came from behind, which seems like every team is coming from behind Boston Red Sox. The only way they're going to win is if a walk-off hit, so they better hope to see that because the next inning they're losing the lead no matter what. And I go back and forth with Atlanta Braves or Cleveland Indians. Jose Ramirez is just like that silent superstar in the league that kind of gets overlooked just because he's so consistent. And I think that's what you need. And he loves that city. He just broke the all-time record for the most games played for Cleveland. I said Cleveland Indians. I'm sorry, Cleveland Guardians. That's
Cleveland
on me.
Guardians. We got to be politically correct on
It's
this
so
show.
hard. It is
We
still
don't
so
want
hard
to
after all
get
these
banned.
years.
We just got a name.
Yeah,
But
I know.
no, I think you bring up a really good point. The all-time leader in games, and that's a very historic franchise. I know they
Yes,
got a new
exactly.
name, but the Guardians, the Indians, whatever you want to call them, they're a historic franchise.
Yeah, definitely. So, and they've had some big names. They typically go to other teams right away, especially their pitching staff. CC was out of there. Cliff Lee was out of there. The list goes on and on. They've always had by far top superstars in those positions. Shane Bieber. But yeah, that's just a fun team. I think they're going to do that. Steven Kwan is probably one of my favorite leadoff hitters. He does it all in the field, at bat, always gets the walks. He's always on base. So that's just a really fun team. They're always going to be there.
You bring up a really good point. You never really talk about them watching the games throughout the season. I'm not thinking what are the Guardians doing today, but they're always in playoff contention. So I love your list. I think you nailed it. I agree with you. I think I might have the Yankees just a little bit too high. There is a lot of holes on that team, but I just look at their run differential. That's the thing that really stood out to me. But run differential doesn't always tell the whole story. So you bring up a very, very good point. I might have to bump the Yankees down just a little bit. The AL East is terrible. So the Yankees might be the biggest fish in a small pond right now. But speaking of the biggest fish in a pretty big pond, New York City, Juan Soto is out 2 to 3 weeks. I know he's on the JV New York team, but what does this mean for the Mets, and how bad can they really get without one of their biggest superstars?
You would think it'd be bad, but right now they're 4-1 since his injury when he got taken out of that game. They finished that game and won that game. Uh, that's not a bad place to be. They're still struggling. They have a lot of youth on that team right now. Badley's going to be playing in right field. Not so good at the plate. Fielding is skeptical, but that's saying a lot. Soto really isn't the best fielder in right field, anyways. But he could definitely produce at the plate. It could be good to just get those young kids up there and see what they have. They have a lot of prospects that they've kind of groomed for a couple years now. So bring them up, see what they have, and be prepared for any other injuries that they may have for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, that's a really good point. They are playing a little bit better without him. I think the problem with the Mets has been too many big personalities. They have the highest payroll in baseball right now, and that just goes to show you that going out and writing big checks doesn't always pay off. We're Yankees fans. We know that as well as anybody, that you can't just go write a big check and win yourself a World Series. There's a cohesiveness on the team. I'm not really sure. I don't follow the Mets that closely, but it seems like too many big personalities. And the fact that you're playing better without the highest paid player in baseball is just absolutely crazy to me. Now that we're 2 weeks into the MLB season, 2 weeks into the ABS taking effect, there have been some trickle down effects from this. Sean, I'm going to read these off to you, and then you tell me what you think. Batting averages, they seem to be spiraling. I don't know if this is because the batters have too much to think about, or if this is just a coincidence, but batting averages, they're on their way down. Walk rates are up. For the first time since 1950, 10% of plate appearances will result in a walk, and strikeouts, they're up as well. What's your thoughts on ABS 2 weeks into the season?
I think both people are thinking about it too much. I saw a lot when I was watching games this week. Players were tapping their head trying to get a replay in a scenario that really wouldn't impact the game. It could later on in the at bat or later on in the inning if they're able to extend their at bat. But there's no one on base. There's two outs, and they're tapping their head. It's like save that for later on in the game. You only have so many opportunities to have that, and it comes in the seventh inning, and then they're already out. So there's going to be a crazy crunch time in the ninth inning, and they can't call anything. So, and for the walks, the umpires aren't perfect. They're probably 95% accurate when it comes to their calls. Still great if you look at it as an average. I mean, you at 95, 97, it's almost like a good fielding average too for someone that's getting a ground ball hit to them, pop fly. but their timing of when those calls come, and it's just a huge impact. So there's always been really close calls. They're whether it's all determined how the game's going, but it's black or white now. And if you have an opportunity to call it, you see that that's going to be a ball or a strike, call it. And batters are seeing that. Their vision is amazing. They're always seeing it from the bullpen or the dugout. If it was a ball, which is crazy to me, now they have their opportunity to step up. I just wish players were really concerned and knew the situation and not be so selfish with their calls.
Yeah, I've noticed that a lot. They should really be strategic. And I don't know if this is something that the managers now need to start managing. Hey, you're going up there if they, kind of like you get a green light to swing the bat. Hey, you get a ear tug, and that's your green light. Go ahead and challenge anything that you need right now. The challenges have to happen so quick. I don't know if they're just, if it's close, I'm going to challenge it. I don't know their mentalities, but what
Yeah.
I am having a problem with, this has been very interesting. This is a very, very interesting experiment. What I am having a problem with is we as baseball fans want to see players running the bases. And this one thing is now seeming to do the opposite of that. Batting averages are down, strikeouts are up. Yeah, sure, there's more walks, but once these players are getting on base, the averages seem to be going down. Nobody's running the bases. So let me throw this back to you. 2 weeks in, would you say ABS is a good thing or a bad thing with the limited amount of information we have so far?
It's super fun in the crowd when they're getting into it, but those moments are few and far between. I don't necessarily think it is a good thing for the game. What made baseball so great for all these years, for over 100 years, is the human element with this game. You don't let it rely on an umpire. They're just doing their best. If you really break it down, like I said, 97% accuracy on their calls. The impact on the runs are maybe one run here, one run there. So, yeah, you're going to have some losses that could come down to an umpire's call, but that's what made this game so beautiful.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think they are pretty good for the most part. We know the famous ones, Angel Hernandez, CB Buckner seems to be getting all the bad rap nowadays, but we watch the game to see offense. I think that's just with anything. If we're watching the NBA, we want to see the ball go in the hoop. If we're watching the NFL, we want to see touchdowns. So the simplest way that I can say it, we need to find a way in baseball to have more offense. Whatever we got to do to make that happen, so be it. That's just what we want to see as baseball fans. This might be crazy, Sean. Do we go back to the steroids era of baseball? Let him do steroids.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, everyone still to this day talks about 98, how impressive that was. 70 homers for McGuire, 66 for Sammy Sosa. Definitely bring that back. We need it. It could be boring. They've already shortened the game with how fast innings have to be. And I mean, you have baseball games that are under 2 hours now
Yeah,
with the pitch clock.
yeah.
The pitch clock is fine. I totally get it, but nothing else.
Trust me, I'm a big baseball fan as any, but there were some baseball games that needed to be under 2 hours, dragging on to 3.5, 4 hours. I'm like, what are we doing here? But that's my solution. If I was a commissioner of baseball, steroids, they're back in. But unfortunately, I'll probably never get that opportunity to be the baseball commissioner. So we'll just talk about it for fun on this show. One thing that we talked about recently, and your boys showed up so quick in the biggest stage, Konnor Griffin, the rookie from Pittsburgh, the Pittsburgh Pirates, in his very first plate appearance, RBI double. You told the people last week about him. He showed up the very next day. If the people didn't tune in last week, tell them about Konnor Griffin.
Konnor Griffin is indeed the future. Paul Skeens said he is going to be the face of the franchise. Whether that means Paul Skeens thinks he's going to be out, he hasn't been offered a contract, or he's going to get traded, but Konnor is the real deal. He's going to have some struggles. Every first player does after they start appearing. Fastballs come in a little quicker. The game's a lot different. Crowd's a lot different. And the jitters for him are a lot different. You're finally on the main stage. You're not just in some small farm town playing baseball. But he is the real deal. And he didn't get a hit for the next 4 games after that, but then he got 2 hits after that game. So I think he just needed to get loose. got a 9-year contract already 1 weekend. So they've already completely talked about this. I think we are seeing the future of these contracts, and their players are starting to pay people before arbitration, which is huge for the game.
Huge. These things are going to be changing so much. We're going to get into baseball salaries here in a little bit, but you brought up a really, really good point. 9 years, $140 million. I'll tell you, not to get into personal finances or anything like that, but it took me a lot more than one at bat for me to get my first $140 million contract. So we'll just leave it at that. But it is absolutely wild because some are going to say, "Oh my gosh, he's barely made his entrance into the MLB. How is he going to get $140 million?" I think this is absolutely genius because two reasons. The salary on baseball, they're just going to keep going up and up and up. The numbers, they back it. The players, they're just going to get paid more. These superstars like Griffin is leading himself to be, they're just going to keep setting record after record after record. And these contracts, they're going to at some point get unpayable. Some of the contracts that one player is going to get could outpace what an entire team, an entire roster is getting paid. So I think this is very good. I mean, good for the kid getting $140 million right off the bat. I think it's just smart for both sides. And in the long term, this is going to prove to be a very good contract for the Pittsburgh Pirates. If he does become the face of the franchise, imagine paying, I don't know, what does that break down to be? 13, $14 million a year, whatever it ends up being. Imagine paying the face of your franchise $14 million. That is going to be absolutely amazing. That allows them to bring in some other money on the outside. Trust me, he's not going to be eating ramens and hot dogs after the game. He'll be just fine. Let's go into the Pirates because, like you said, they have Paul Skeens. They now have Konnor Griffin, who just really showed up big on the scene. Are the Pirates shaping up to be at least in contention to win the NL Central, or is this division still Chicago's to lose?
It can still be Chicago's to lose. They have a young core that they locked up. Like I mentioned, Nick Konnor, PCA. So they're taking care of their youth as well. I think they need a little bit, probably one more arm to really be that contender. Cincinnati's still there. Milwaukee's still there. That's going to be a tough division. They're kind of in the same boat, I'd say, as the Colorado Rockies. Have been a down in the dumps team for this entire century almost. Besides a few years in there for both of them, had a few superstars in there, and then they just lose them. And I think they just lose faith. Fans want the owners out, but this changes the entire dynamic. This kind of closes that gap. So it just shows the fans in those cities that they are going to start taking this stuff serious if they get the opportunity.
Yeah, good for them. I mean, I have a soft spot in my heart for the lovable losers. The Rockies, they're the lovable losers. Pittsburgh, they've been a lovable loser for a long time. It'll be very interesting. I've just been kind of surprised with Chicago. We're still so early into the season. I really try not to overreact because so many more games have to be played. But the Pirates, I mean, they could be making a little bit of noise. We'll keep an eye on them. Tune in every single week for these kind of updates. We'll be breaking it down every single week. One thing that happened, did you catch that Braves and Angels brawl this last, I don't know, what was it, Monday?
Yeah, it's so nice. Why are we so angry?
Yes, well, apparently LA's designated hitter Jorge Soler and Braves pitcher Ronaldo Lopez, they both got a 7-game suspension. What happened was Soler, he homered off Lopez in the first at bat. Lopez then hit Soler with a 96-mile-an-hour fastball. Sure, that tickled an itch that he had on his back. Then in the 5th, Lopez went high and inside. After a small delay, Soler charged Lopez. Punches were thrown, deservingly, in my opinion. What were your thoughts on the brawl?
Jorge Soler has always been that guy that's just going to do a nice pimp job, and rightfully so. I think it's really good for the game. Pitchers may not see it that way. his pimp job against the Houston Astros in the World Series with the Atlanta Braves is still one of my favorites, the way he stared at the ball. Nevertheless, people are just not going to like it, depending on where you're at. If you're a pitcher, you're not going to like that. Show off. Do it. If you're going to strike them out, do the same thing. The delay where they just looked at each other and then went towards the mound, it was it was funny to watch. And you just know it's not going to be taken serious. The guy's wearing a helmet. Are you going to really throw the punch? Pitchers always seem to be really flamboyant when they're in these brawls. I never see them actually kick butt unless you're Nolan Ryan on Robin Ventura, but few and far between there.
Yeah, no, he was an absolute legend, Nolan Ryan. It was a deserving fight. Like you said,
Oh yeah,
straight pimp
oh yeah.
job from Soler. Lopez, he beans him once. You go high and inside again. There just has to be a fight. I mean, it just is what it is. The only thing that I have a problem with, and this is not just in this particular brawl, this is in any brawl, the bench clearing brawls, the stupid bullpens, when they empty out from both teams, they're all the way on the other end of the field. I have absolutely no idea what they're doing. It takes them 5 minutes to even get there. Everybody's already mixed up in the whole brawl and everything's going on. So they get there. They're just standing on the outside of the crowd. They're even behind the 60-year-old coaches that are just standing there trying to break these players up. They never have anything to do. Then after it's all done, they have the mile-long walk back to the bullpen, and it just makes absolutely no sense. If they really wanted to do something and get some action, they would just turn around and fight the other bullpen. But instead, they're both running like goofballs a mile down the outfield to get to the brawl in the first place. I have absolutely no idea. They just look like a bunch of circus clowns. I mean, just stay in the bullpen. You're not going to do anything. I don't think I've seen one bullpen player do anything ever in any sort of brawl. So just stay where you're at. Let the players actually mixed up in the business, handle business. You stay where you're at. That's all I got. End rant. What's your thoughts on bullpen players getting involved in these?
Same thing. I want to see one team trip the other team when they're running out there. They're not running ever. They never run. They don't run at practice. They may do some nice stretches here and there, but they're never running to the mound when they're coming out of the bullpen. So they're already gassed. They're done for the rest of the game. And then, like you said, then you have to walk all the way back, and there's no bickering between both teams. So it's like you're just trying to be there. You're just trying to be fun. You're trying to be that kid in the schoolyard fights and filming it and just hyping up the rest of the players.
It's so ridiculous. I mean, every single time I see them running out of the bullpen, I'm like, just stop, just go back. You're not going to do nothing. Like you said, they're just, oh, there's a fight. Oh, fight in the schoolyard in 5. I'll be there. They don't.
Yeah, that's all it is.
One thing that is not all talk, some of these MLB salaries. We got the news, we got the numbers. Let me break it down for you. MLB salaries, they rose on opening day this year 3.4% to a record $5.34 million average. What's your thoughts? Would you take $5.3 million to play the game we love?
I'd take 534,000. That's cool with me. I could live with that. I could live off it. I think we could all be fine with that. It's good for the game, but we need to get people in the seats for sure.
I completely agree with you. Seeing these numbers go up 5.34 million, that is good. That is just going to keep the talent and the players coming back and trying to do more. So I love to see it. The Mets, of all teams, they lead the league in spending 352.2 million for the 4th straight year. Mets lead the league. Are they getting what they pay for?
Absolutely not. Uncle Steve Cohen, when he bought ownership for the Mets, he promised he was going to be the highest payroll. He made it happen. He made an immediate impact, and he's definitely not seen an ROI with his business whatsoever. People still go to the games. It's still New York. They're going to show up. They have some star power there. Whether they're actually seeing the star power achieve these goals, not so much. But he made that promise that he was going to bring some of the best players and the most expensive players to a city, and he's doing that.
Yep, that does not always lead to championships. The Yankees, they always get that rap, but I think they're a little bit smarter with their spending this year. I would hate to be a Mets fan right now for the 4th straight year having the highest payroll and one of the worst performances year in, year out. Speaking of a former Yankee and current Met, Juan Soto is the highest paid player at 61.9 million, followed by none other than New York's Cody Bellinger, 42.5 million. Do either of these numbers surprise you?
Uh, it's a $20 million gap for sure. It's huge. Cody Bellinger making more than Aaron Judge is still the one that's crazy. But Aaron Judge did sign it on a year before the Otani deal, before Garrett Cole deal, and before Juan Soto's deal. So it just happened to be the way his contract laid out. And money's differently now than it was 5 years ago. Juan Soto making that much money just for a position player, a really lackluster position player, is still baffling to me, but he held out. He had a phenomenal 2022 season with the Yankees, or excuse me, 2023 or 24. Man, I'm all over. But he had a great year with them. He bet on himself to do just a 1-year deal to maintain that when he got traded from San Diego, and it worked out. So he earned it. He got what he needed. He was also hitting in front of Aaron Judge, so I don't think Steve Cohen took that into account because there's no one like Aaron Judge batting behind Juan Soto to give him those opportunities. Juan Soto could see the ball better than anybody. He was probably my favorite Yankee to watch in a long time. You knew he was going to get on base, whether it was a walk or a hit. So you just always felt like guaranteed 3 times a game he was going to get on base. Cody Bellinger could be one of the best fielders we've ever seen. We needed it. We were desperate in the outfield with, Juan Soto being kind of mediocre. We needed to make a splash after he left in New York. And Cody Bellinger was the best available with that trade with Chicago. And I don't think we needed to give him as much as we did because that market just kept declining. The days kept coming. But we signed him. We showed value because when you sign that player, you're also showing it for the future players that you will value them when their opportunity comes.
Yeah, I 100% agree. If Juan Soto commanded $62 million a year, it just wasn't worth it. I mean, he's great. Like I said, he was one of my favorite Yankees to watch in that 24 season. But I mean, $61.9 million. There were 8 teams under $100 million to start the season. How crazy is that? When you have one player getting paid $62 million and then 8 teams spending under $100 million total. I mean, just absolutely crazy. There were 10 teams that have $200 million payrolls, 6 teams that have $250 million plus payrolls. And get this, this is how heavy and top loaded these salaries are. The top 50 players make 30% of the salaries. The top 100 players earn 49% of all the salaries. What are your thoughts on just the top loaded nature of the MLB?
It as far as the teams, when it comes to like 100 million for 8 teams, it's really sad and pathetic to see that. These owners are billionaires. They can afford it. They're getting TV revenue. That's all going to be talked about with the new CBA that's expiring this year. They are making profit. Otherwise, why else would they do this? And they don't care about what's going to be happening in the middle of the summer, and they're down 30 games under 500. They're still getting people to show up, go to these games, buy jerseys, buy food, just have a whole weekend of it with the family. Whether the tickets are cheaper in Minnesota than it is in New York or Denver as it is for a Texas Rangers game. So they're just going to make it happen. They're just trying to cry that they don't have the money or no one wants to play for them. You have it. It's proof that we've seen the last 2 weeks. Sign your young stars, sign them at a young age, get them while they're young. They're 21, 22 years old, sign them to these long deals. And then they get a big one when they're 30 and they get a crazy Albert Pujols deal or Anthony Rendon deal from a sucker team that will sign them for $500 million. But you took care of them in their youth. You avoided the arbitration years that the Players Association has a problem with because then they have to show their value year after year after year and bring them up to the majors when it's their time. So we have so many of these young players that are rotting in the minor leagues because the owners want to have years of control on them, whether it's value for trades or signing them to have them long term. Bring them up now. The fans want it. The players want it. The top 50 players should not be making 30% of the deal. Everyone knows that there's these influx of these contracts, but it's very few and far between of the players. And you want to make sure that these players have an equal opportunity to get those salaries when their time comes.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. It is absolutely disgusting. And the reason why I'm always wearing this Yankees hat is in part because I love the Yankees, but it's also in part in protest to the Colorado Rockies. I mean, we have such a great sports town here in Denver, Colorado, and the fact that we just can't seem to get past 100 loss season, 100 losses, 100 losses, 100 losses, you're not going to get my money. I had a Rockies hat back in the day. I don't know what happened to it, but I literally refuse to spend my money and give them my money till they give me a product that I like first. Sean, you're a business owner, a very successful business owner. Would it make any sense for a customer to come in and pay you for something, a lackluster product? No, that's not how Flatirons Fire grew to be where they're at today. You guys deliver and then you get paid. That's how these things work. That's the great capitalistic society that we live in. You deliver a great product and then you get paid for it. I refuse to give the Colorado Rockies my money. But you said something very, very interesting. Are we headed towards a lockout? The collective bargaining agreement is up. What's your thoughts? Are we going to have baseball next year?
I think we will have baseball because we are taking the steps in the right direction, paying these young kids that deserve it, avoiding these arbitration years, teams fighting for just 500,000 here. Give it to the players. Tariq Skubal made out on the arbitration year this year. Good for him, but he didn't have to pitch an incredible season to earn that. Nevertheless, we will see it. The nice thing is it does expire December 31st. They have 3 months to figure it out. Hopefully they figure it out a lot sooner. Like I said, I think we are headed the right direction, paying these people. I think the owners want a salary cap. I think they need to do something about the bottom feeders here. There shouldn't be 8 teams under 100 million. I think there needs to be at least a bottom number that you have to hit. Don't give out crazy deals like a Chris Bryant deal for whatever money the Colorado Rockies paid, but don't just give it out to hit a number. But I think there should be some spending happening, even out the playing field. Like I said, now you have Konnor Griffin locked up for 9 years. Now you have no excuse to be able to compete now for the next decade.
That's just smart money. You know what I mean? Make an investment in your franchise. For the people that don't know, explain arbitration.
So arbitration, a player once they become MLB athlete, they leave the minors. Their clock starts. So I think that's 3 or 4 seasons that they have of the team that currently has that player. They have the rights to sign them, and basically every year, whatever their production was, that's how they're paid out with average contracts, with the going rate of people their age, their position, the whole nine. So it actually goes to a court process of how much did they actually earn. A team will come back saying it's 15 million, the player wants 18 million, and then the court will decide which side does the money actually go. Majority of the time it goes towards the players, but there are sometimes it goes towards a team, and then that player is just salty, they're upset, they're not going to be playing to their full potential the following year. So it's just ugly. So if you just eliminate all that, lock them up early, make them happy, and then now they're successful. Give them opt-out years. I think if you're going to sign them up for 9 years, give them an opt-out year after 5. So if they are killing it, they are making 14 million like Konnor is, 15 million, but they're probably worth 30. Give them an opt-out opportunity after 5 years if you can't make something happen in between there, and then they could go on and make a bigger deal.
I couldn't have said it better myself. Well, like I said, thank you very much, Sean. Thank you very much, Flatirons Fire and Design. They are our new sponsor. Go check out their showroom on 58th and I-25. It's right off the highway. You can't miss it. Let them design your fireplace. Let them take care of your outside. It is just starting to be that season here in Denver, Colorado. This is the only place to get it, your outside taken care of. The best place that I know from the best people that I know. Thank you very much, Sean, and thank you very much, Flatirons Fire and Design. Tune in every single week. We'll be here breaking down baseball. Anything you want to leave the people with?
Come and see us. We're going to be at the Douglas County Fairgrounds this weekend for the home show down there if you're in the Castle Rock area and you don't pass up our way here on I-25 and you go to a Rockies game. So we'll be able to be down there. I'll be there all day Saturday and all day Sunday, so speak to me there.
Catch him at Douglas County Fairgrounds. Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Flatirons Fire. We'll see you guys next time.